Hello once again, my name is Darryl Kwao. Welcome to our program. Now, players in the banking sector are looking forward to major policy announcements by the governor of the central bank at this year's edition of the Banking Awards, scheduled to take off Saturday evening at the Labadi Beach Hotel. This includes the revised minimum capital requirement expected to be pegged at not less than 200 million Ghana cedis. Some banks are said to be already struggling to meet this. Now, meanwhile, all is set for the event, which is this year focusing on sustainable customer service in the banking sector. Chairman of the Planning Committee, Nana Otoe Champon, earlier shared why the theme was important in building a formidable banking industry.
Well, customers are the base asset for any service industry, because you can have the bank with the latest technology, furniture and everything. If no customer walks through that door, then you don't have a business. And so we feel that the customer base is important. But you want customers on the basis of sustainability. By sustainability, we mean that it's cheaper to retain customers than to find new ones, and therefore the ability to sustain them for as long as possible is what the banks should be striving for.
Okay, but how do you think that our banks have fared over the years when it comes to customer service? Because you get a lot of customers complain about some of the services they get. How do you think they have fared?
It's a mixed outcome, in the sense that some have done very well, but some are not yet there, and so we have to be harping at it every year to ensure that they set up and give the best to customers. So some are doing it, because at the end of the day, since the inception in 2001, we've awarded customer service or customer care to a bank, which means that some have done well. So one needs probably to go through and see, of the 33 banks, which hasn't won anything in customer care. So it's a study that you've prompted us to do.
Okay. Yeah. And I just want to find out if banks are able to improve upon their customer service. How do you think that impacts their business? Because
your customers is your asset, and you want to grow your asset, it is mandatory that you improve your services to your customers, because, as I said earlier, if you have a bank and no customer walks through the door, then you don't have any bank. And so the idea of getting customers, is very, very important, and so they should be working at it on a regular basis.
Meanwhile, banks are expressing mixed expectations about their performance in the awards, which last year saw Fidelity clinch the coveted Bank of the Year award. Here are some views we sampled from some banks.
My expectation is that Ghanaian banking sector will look at all that UBA has done in terms of innovation, in terms of customer service, in terms of the various products that we've tried to push out to enhance our customers' experience and reward us appropriately.
But which areas do you think you've done well that you deserve?
All. Yes.
The day an individual run his or her life because somebody is going to give him an award, is probably going to be playing a script. As Guaranty Trust Bank, we don't run our life playing a script. We have a goal, we have an objective. And at whether banking award is coming up or it's not coming up, we are always in the laboratory thinking about how we will bring convenience to the doorstep of the customers. This year alone, Guaranty Trust Bank Ghana has won 4 awards. So it's our way of life. Excellence is our watchword. So whether there is an award coming up or an award not coming up, every day of our life, we are striving to make sure we hit that target. To make sure that any day our name is mentioned, people will turn right, people will turn left, and they will say, that is the bank to be.
We are happy with what we have done so far. We are excited about the progress we have made. Awards come to commemorate it, and we'll be happy if we are nominated or we receive any of the awards on display, and we are on standby, and I hope that something good comes out of it.
The Banking Awards is organized by Corporate Initiative Ghana with support from Vodafone Business Solutions and Joy Business. We will be bringing you up to speed on who won what when the event gets underway Saturday evening. Now, still in the banking space, something very interesting coming up. OmniBank has once again emerged as the institution that offers the highest interest on deposits. That's the conclusion we are drawing from after going through the latest Bank of Ghana annual percentage rates, that's APR and average interest AI data. George Rafe has been going through the report. He joins me on the line. George, tell us more about this. All right, so I'm hearing that we have lost George Rafe on the line. And so we would get back to him on that report. Very interesting, especially coming ahead of the Banking Awards. Now, CEO of Enterprise Group, Kelly Gajapo, has expressed some optimism in the future of the capital market. Speaking on Joy Business's business leadership program, the Executive Lounge, he said it is important for the sector to have people such as the current Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, at the helm of affairs, considering the vast wealth of experience he carries in the area.
The policy guy, my policy guy, I'm really talking about the ministries, have never really been clear what to do with the capital markets. And it's my hope and my prayer that now that we have a minister from the capital markets background, we see a departure from the past. But the thing is, it's not called capital markets by accident. It is the market that you go to seek for capital, not for short-term paper. That's not capital. Capital is what you use to grow your business. So that's
money that has patience.
Patient capital. It can sit beside you and work with you till you get to where, and it's structured such that you can afford it. You know, so the absence of a capital market in any serious economy, actually you will not ever be a serious economy if you don't have a structured capital market. Not in today's economic environment, construct of the economy. You know, so it's an important element that we have to get right. And I'm quite excited that we have a minister, and not just him, but a couple of the minister and his deputy, actually, one of the deputies is also a capital markets guy. So I keep saying if we don't get it right during this term, then...
All right, so catch the full interview airing on Saturday at 6 p.m. on this channel. It's also going to be repeated on Sunday at 8 p.m. That is Executive Lounge on the JoyNews channel. I want to move on to our earlier story about the latest report released by the central bank. It's indicating that OmniBank offers the highest rates on deposits. George Rafe has been reading through the report. He joins us now on the line. George, tell us more about the annual percentage rate report.
So basically, what this report is something that is put together by the Bank of Ghana. And normally when you walk into any commercial bank, they have a rate that they advertise. But what happens is that this APR is actually giving you the actual rate that the banks also charge, because the Bank of Ghana has gone through their books and they see that this is the rate that the bank charge. So basically, this is, let me say, the true rate that a commercial bank is charging you when you deposit your funds or when you go to lend from Bank A, Bank B, or Bank C, Darryl. All right, so we are hearing that OmniBank offers the highest rates on deposits. What rates are we talking about here? Well, Darryl, if you go through the data that was released by the Bank of Ghana this afternoon, they're offering 17.3%. And that's an assessment after they assessed over 32 banks, actually. And basically, this was for the period ending June. So, Darryl, what is actually happening is that these were funds that were already placed with OmniBank. So this is not just for fresh funds. So funds that were placed with the bank ending June. And this is the rate that they offer. The 17.3% is per annum, actually. And if you look at the other 31 banks, this was the highest rate that being offered when it comes to deposits. All right. And, George, what about the real rates banks gave to businesses? So when you go through the data as well, there's a portion that looks at what the banks lend to firms that are operating in the agri sector and the construction sector, the commerce sector, and then other payments. And Bank of Baroda again came on top, because when you look at the rates that they offered, they were given as low as 22% and as much as 28%. So in terms of these businesses who are operating in this sector, Bank of Baroda again came on top as the best place to that they were offering credit, or very competitive credit or favorable credit to businesses who are operating in these firms.
Well, what can you say about the timing of this report? Pretty interesting, just ahead of the banking awards on Saturday.
It tells you the banking fever, you're right. And another critical thing that they'll be doing the awards is basically who is offering the best rate as well, because many businesses have complained in the past about the fact that it's very, very, very expensive. So one thing that they also be giving award this weekend is competitive pricing, and which bank is offering the best rates to businesses when it comes to the pricing of loans. And this is very, very critical, because a lot of people have complained in the past about the fact that, Darryl, it's quite expensive in this country. When you also go through that report again, Darryl, what you see is that from January to date, the cost of credit has just dropped by, the real cost of credit has just gone down by 1.3%. That is not commensurate with the over 3% base rate reduction, or actually called the policy rate reduction from the Bank of Ghana. So there's still a lot to be done. And if indeed cost of credit is going down, treasury bill rate is going down, some will say that what excuse again do the commercial banks have to not to drop their rate? So an award like this would again separate the boys from the men, for us to know which of these banks are doing when it comes to customer care, when it comes to profitability, when it comes to long-term finance, when it comes to short-term financing and all those things. So it couldn't have come at a better time, Darryl.
All right. I like the sound of that, separating the boys from the men. Thanks as always, George Rafi, with that update. We want to move on to the petroleum sector, because the National Petroleum Authority's plan to start implementing new sulfur levels for diesel in the country has been moved to next month. According to the authority, the change in date was due to challenges in going ahead with the policy from July 1. George Rafi has more in this report.
The National Petroleum Authority, in a letter dated July 4 and sent to importers of petroleum products, noted that the change was also influenced by challenges in working out the necessary documentation for the new sulfur levels for gasoline and gas oil. The NPA maintained that it is working out on all these issues to pave the way for bulk oil importers to bring in the new sulfur level of 50 ppm from August 1. Products currently sold on the market are said to have more than 3,000 ppm, which are far lower than the standards accepted for sale of petroleum products across the world. It has been described by analysts as having very high chemical levels, which are injurious to vehicle engines, the environment, as well as the health of human beings. The NPA, in an email response to Joy Business last month, had maintained it would give importers 3 months to fully clear their stocks when it starts implementing these new standards. It, however, maintained that it will not hesitate to withdraw the license of any importer which fails to comply with this new directive.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister of Energy, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, has justified the decision by the NPA to review the implementation date despite criticisms from some industry players.
I mean, this is the first time we are making such revolutionary revision in the quality. I say revolutionary because you are moving from 3,000 ppm, to 50 ppm. That's a very significant move. And therefore, you want to be sure that if there are operational concerns, including the clear provisions of the modalities on how to enforce this, why not, even if you pause for another year, to address them before you move in? And so postponing it from 1st July to 1st August, I don't think there is much difference. It's just 1 month. And I'm saying that even if you will pause for 1 year to address the concerns from stakeholders, the operational difficulties we may face if we implement it, the lack of clarity. And I have come to the understanding also that many Ghanaians still do not know about this, which means that the public awareness part has not been fully executed. And therefore, if they are pausing to engage stakeholders further and to educate and create more awareness about it before they kickstart the implementation of the project, just in a matter of 1 month, you know, I don't think that should be.
I had this question because I was worried about that Swiss NGO report that they put together about the effect of this on our economy and even on human beings. And if this is true, even 1 week usage of it, some would say that it's serious.
How about more than 10 years usage of it? And so if you want to bring progress to bear on a nation, there are, you know, ways by which you can do it. Number one is you eliminate it entirely. If you cannot eliminate, you reduce it to the barest minimum. If you cannot, you reduce it to the level that is, how do I say it, operational, under the difficult circumstances you operate in. You know, but to stay at the same point is what I think is problematic.
In other news tonight, fintech company ZPay has been adjudged the best startup at this year's edition of the Ghana Startup Awards. Here's our report from Thursday evening's event. The Ghana Startup Awards, organized by the African Network of Entrepreneurs, is aimed at giving startups exposure, recognition and support to enable them become globally competitive. 15 awards were dished out in the second edition of the awards held in Accra Thursday night. The awardees included Asoriba and Doman Foods in the categories of technology and processing respectively. The ultimate award of Best Startup of the Year went to fintech company ZPay. Andrew Techi Apia is co-founder of ZPay.
We've been around for 3.5 years. This is one of many awards we won. We won awards even before we went open our doors. What it means to us is a good year. We're grateful and thank you.
Okay. And how is this going to propel your business further, do you think?
Well, I'm coming from Ghana. This is the first award we won in Ghana. All our awards are international. So obviously it puts us also in the heart of Ghanaians, and we're thankful that they do that.
Joy Business received an honorary award for providing tremendous opportunities for startups and young entrepreneurs in areas of grooming and business promotion. Meanwhile, Eko Mensah, Chief Executive of the African Network of Entrepreneurs, organizers of the event, has welcomed the launch of a national entrepreneurship and innovation plan aimed at encouraging enterprise activity. Government has committed seed money of $10 million to the project, which Mr. Mensah describes as timely.
That is a good approach by the current governments to work with the ecosystem players to support 10,000 startups and SMEs. And we're excited about that. And we hope they go according to that plan. And we know it will succeed. Okay. And in terms of impact, what impact do you think you have made, especially with regards making our startups globally competitive? Where are we at? What do we need to do? Well, we need a lot of capacity building, access to information, and then create that environment where there are support systems in place to support them. I think that most of the startups we have are now getting more and more competitive because they recognize that the world is a global village and they need competitiveness to stay afloat. So one of the things that we have recognized and we are supporting is that innovative bit of it. The event also saw the release of the Ghana Startup Club 100 list of most outstanding startups in the country. And as you heard in that report, yours truly, Joy Business, received an honorary award for our contribution to building the startup ecosystem. We got this reaction from Group Head of Business Programming here at the Multimedia Group, Emma Morrison.
It makes me feel we have been recognized for all the hard work we've put in. We set out a deliberate agenda to actually help startups, SMEs, and also young entrepreneurs, because we realize that a lot of people want to go into business. How do they do it? So if you sort of like listen and watch, that is on radio and TV, we have a lot of programs going on in terms of how we nurture young people to start up businesses, like the masterclass, and our Joy Business Van is quite big. So we're happy about this award, but it also tells us that we need to do more. There are so many things that we can do. So we believe that in focusing on this special agenda, it also feeds into the agenda of bigger organizations. A lot of organizations also have a focus like this, and also into policy to grow young people to want to do business.
Is it only about just receiving an award, or what does the award add to the team?
It's not only just about receiving an award. It's about, are we doing the right thing? How are we doing it? How are we helping others? The award is nice. It's nice to receive awards, you know that. But then it's like, what is the result of all the hard work that you put in? What is the result of what you want to do? And that is key.
Okay. Is it going to affect the work of the Joy Business team in any way?
You mean the impact of the award? Well, I can say that obviously I expect it to sort of like boost the morale of my team, that they're doing something right. They enjoy what they do. And it's like, yes, they're touching a nerve and they're having an impact on people. Yeah.
Okay. Apart from focusing our attention on entrepreneurs and startups, what other areas are we looking at moving forward as a team?
Oh gosh, we have a lot of work to do, and there's so many areas we want to touch on. There's always a business component, a financial component in every single thing, whether it's health, whether it's education, whether it's even things that people don't think about, even entertainment and stuff like that. The hospitality industry is also big. So there's lots and lots of things we're going to do, and people should watch out for it.
And we are still suffering a bit of a hangover from the celebration last night. I want to say a big congratulations to the team, and there's plenty more ahead that we have to offer here at Joy Business. Now we are moving on to our interview of the day, and there's been plenty talk about entrepreneurship, and you can guess why, because the president launched the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan, and some entrepreneurs have lauded government's ambitious plan to promote and develop entrepreneurship in the country. The president yesterday, as I've been telling you, launched a plan aimed at creating a conducive and business-friendly environment for enterprise activity. Of particular interest, though, among many in the execution of such a plan are the issues of disbursement and monitoring. Kosi Yankee is Executive Director of the National Board for Small-Scale Industries.
Interview of the day.
Mentorship is key. I think we undervalue it a lot of times, and mentorship comes in various forms and comes from different people, and actually going out and seeking people who can mentor you, or having access to people who would mentor you in the work you're doing, be it your professional life or your personal life, is really important. And so the mentorship can go to the management, to the entrepreneur. It could go to the people who also work with the entrepreneur, if they do have people they work with. So I think along and across spectrum, mentorship is open for everybody else. But in this case, since we're looking at entrepreneurship, the entrepreneur actually needs a lot of mentorship as well. Monitoring is key and important, and it's key not because you're keeping track of the person or taps on what they're doing, but monitoring it to ensure that the businesses are sustainable. Because when you listen to a lot of what the president says and a lot of what most of the people around us are saying is, how do we create jobs that are sustainable? And it's only by monitoring those kind of jobs or the entrepreneurship initiatives that you'd be able to get a better understanding of what survived and what did not survive. Is it really impacting communities? So monitoring is very key in everything that we do, and this is no different task. We have to do that with this program, and all NBSSI programs also have that. So at the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, we currently have 173 offices in the districts, and in 173 districts. And in most of the work we do, we go back into the communities to provide counseling and advisory services to the businesses that we've helped start, that we've supported in the communities. And so that in itself is a form of monitoring the work, ensuring that once we've provided training, it's actually being implemented and that it's actually the businesses are also growing. So we keep that in mind.
So tell me, an initiative like this, many would think that because it's going into private sector and because the government made a promise, to support the sector, it should be free. But you find a lot of business people suggesting that it should be perhaps an interest-free loan, which, we should get people to repay after a period of time. What's your position as a board on this, looking at the history of the sector?
I don't think it's about the position of the board. And I'm looking at it in this conversation is about entrepreneurship generally in this country and looking at access to finance generally. And it's a big issue.
Interview of the day.
That'll be it for Business Live this week. My name is Daryl Kwao. We are back next week with some more business news on this program. Stay with us.